What's up guys, welcome back, and in today's video we're going to go through the new AI capture step within Voiceflow. It's a new feature released by Voiceflow recently, and I feel like it hasn't gotten the hype it ought to get because it completely transforms the AI chatbot we built, more conversational, more powerful chatbots. So in today's video we're going to go through a deep dive of this new feature and why it's a complete game changer going forward, how it advances the chatbots we build. So let me stop talking and give you a demo of why this is important. So let's just do a quick demo on this. So it's just a simple chatbot that asks the user to provide their order number for them to track their order status. Then we have the AI capture step to be able to obtain the actual order number from the user's response. So let me run the chatbot from here. Could you please provide your order number? Then we have the capture block there. So let me act a bit dumb then so that you can see how it works. So I'll just say my order number is and don't provide the actual order number. So let's see. Could you please share your order number, ensuring it starts with a 0? So that's one of the conditioning I've put, that all the order numbers that the user provides should start with a 0. Then let's continue. Why do you need my order number? So you see, I need your order number to locate your specific order details and assist you effectively. Could you please provide it, ensuring it starts with a 0? So notice it addresses the concern, then reprompts the user to provide the order number. And also notice that all this is within the same capture block. The flow hasn't led on to a different block. It's within the same capture block, this one. So this is the power of this AI capture block. It's mind-blowing. Okay, my order number is 1234. Let us see. It seems like there might be a small mistake. Could you please check if your order number starts with 0? So now let's provide it with the trailing 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll just provide it as is. And let's see if it's able to capture that. Perfect. So you can see, nice, your order number is 1234. So yeah, the 0 is just a trailing indicator that this is the order number, but the actual order number is 1234. So it gets that correctly. And you can see the power within that is it still remained within the same capture block, and it was able to handle any objections, any concerns within the same capture block, and it's able to obtain every detail it requires. And the power within this I can even show you is, for example, if we want the user to provide the full names and let's say they provide just their first name, the AI can reprompt them to provide their last name, then it will bundle that with the first name they had already mentioned, then brings that together as the full name. So they don't have to restate their actual full name, they just have to provide the last name, then that will be bundled with what they had already mentioned to provide the full name. So it's quite a powerful capture block. It blew my mind, so let's get into it. So here I have a basic Voiceflow agent that I've built, and this is the tracking order functionality that I've implemented into the chatbot. Okay, so this specific workflow will entail everything we're going to be discussing. So let me go through it. It's a simple workflow that asks the customer to provide their order number. Then we have a capture block to obtain the order number from the user. And in this case, we're not using the traditional capture block, but we are using the new AI capture step. Okay, and it's similar to the initial capture block. It's the same capture block that you'd use initially, just that it's now more advanced. Okay, so just to drag it over so that you can see the new features within it, so that you can better understand it. So there's this new capture block. You can see it looks different, but it's more or less just like initial, but now with more features added to it. Okay, so you can see you can be able to capture entities or the entire user reply. Okay, so initially it was normally set by default to entire user reply, but now you can capture the entities as the default. Okay, so we have the entities here, and what an entity is, let me not assume everyone is on the same page. An entity is when you want to capture specific information from the user's response. If you've asked the user to give their email address and they say my email is mutiso@gmail.com, the entity email would capture only mutiso@gmail.com and discard the rest. Okay, so that's the purpose of entities. It can be an email, it can be a phone number, it can be an order number, like in this case that we're going to go through. It can be a product name, it can be whatever it is. You can even create custom entities. So let's look at that. So you can click plus over here, then create entity. You can see I already have some entities that are already created. So let me just cancel this. You can see I already have email, full name, phone number, the order number. So let me create an entity here. So you can see I can name this order number. So it's good practice to give a descriptive name, because the AI will use whatever name you've given the entity to determine the kind of values it ought to obtain from the user's response. So if I give this let's say order number, something like this, like it's not clear enough to the AI what this means, okay? So therefore it's not going to be accurate at obtaining the order number. So good advice I'm giving you here is to give a descriptive name of the actual entity, okay? And the data type, you can see they're already pre-built data types. So in this case, we want to work with number because the order number is a number. So I could click number, but you can see you can obtain the name, geography, email, and so on and so forth, okay? And also you can also have custom entities. So if you have a custom entity, click custom over here, then give example of values that would match the kind of values you want to obtain from the user. So for example, if you want to obtain a product name, you can give several examples of product names that you have in your stock, okay? So you want to give as many values as possible to give the AI a better understanding of the kind of entity you want, okay? But I've already created the entity, so I'll just cancel this. So just to continue over here, so you can create the entity over here. Then there are these 3 toggles that you can be able to turn on. So the first is no reply. This is, for example, if you're building a more voice-like agent that someone can respond using their voice and the AI gives back a response using voice. If the user stays a while without giving a response, you want the AI to be like, yo, are you still there? Something like that. So this works to do that. So once you toggle it on, it can be able to prompt back the user. Let's say after a certain time interval of them not giving a response, the AI can give a relevant response. So it can be like, yo, are you still there? Something like that, okay? You get the point. By this case, I want no reply to be there. Then there's this toggle of automatically reprompt. So you want to turn this on. Why is this? Is because this handles any objections, or for example, if the user gives a wrong email address when you've asked them to provide their email address, you can be able to reprompt them to provide the correct email address. And why this is very powerful is because it uses AI to give a relevant response and prompt the user to provide the right entity structure that you want. So let's take an example of, let's say we've asked the user to provide their email address. And now instead of the user providing the email, they ask, why do you need my email address? Initially, this would flow through the no match path. So if you remember how the captcha block was initially, and if you use entities, you could be able to add a no match path. And now if there's a no match path, we could forward it on to another block, which is a text message telling them to kindly provide the correct email address, okay? So you can see how static this is. We've asked the user to provide their email address, but the user is confused and they ask, why do you need my email address? We flow through the no match path because they haven't provided the email address, and now we are telling them kindly provide the email address. It's so static. It's not answering whatever the user is asking. So in this case, having the AI reprompt the user is much more conversational, because we are giving the user a more conversational approach, such that if they ask, why do you need my email address, the AI can be like, we need your email address for this, this, and this. Kindly provide your email address. So it answers the user's objection, answers their concern, then prompts them to provide the correct email address. So it's much more conversational compared to initially. Also, you could give the argument that initially this functionality could be achieved. We would have the entity in place, then we have the no match path, and when the user provides the wrong email address, the no match path goes to a response AI step that gives a relevant response to the user, whilst reprompting them to provide the email address. You can see that was practical, but you'd have to add an extra block. It's not as intuitive as this approach where it's already built into the captcha block. You can notice in the demo we didn't leave the flow from the captcha block itself. Every reprompting, every handling of any user concern was maintained within the same captcha block, and we didn't have to add extra blocks within the canvas. So it provides a much more powerful functionality whilst making our canvas much neater. So it's quite powerful. Like once I saw this demo being done, like how powerful this feature is, I was like mind blown. I was like, this is a thing that's going to transform everything. So now here there's a toggle for listen for other triggers. This is just in terms of intent classification. Is it open to be able to listen for intents that are outside this captcha block? this enables you, for example, if you've asked them to provide their email address, but they say I want to track my order, it can jump the flow to the tracking and order functionality. Okay, but personally I'd prefer toggling this off so that I capture what I need to capture within this specific capture block. Okay, so that it's not veering outside the flow before it obtains the actual information that's required. Okay, then here's a really important part, is actual rules. So you can be able to give the AI some rules on the kind of data you want to obtain for it. So for example, a rule I could give over here is, that could be the first rule, ensure not to proceed until you capture the order number. I could add another rule, something like, for example, ensure the order number starts with a 0. So these are rules that you're able to give in written English statements so that the AI can have a better picture of what you require from it. Okay, then we have exit scenarios. This ensures that we're not stuck in a never-ending loop. If the user says they don't have their order number, we're able to exit off and handle the flow accordingly. So if they say I don't have my order number, we don't want to keep on asking them, kindly provide your order number, kindly provide your order number. It gets quite frustrating, so we need to have something we call exit scenarios. So we'll say something like exit if the user states they don't have their order number. Okay, so that's, you could give a couple of scenarios that if this is the case, then you can exit and stop reprompting the user to provide the details. Okay, so you can give several examples of that. Then you'll toggle this on to have an exit scenario path, so that if they don't have their order number, we're able to handle that. For example, in this case, I could just tell them through a text message that your order number is typically normally sent through to your email address, kindly check that. Then we can handle the conversation accordingly. So for this, let me just go through now the actual flow that we used in the demo so that you can see what happened in that case. So I'll just delete this. Then I'll enter the actual capture block so that you can see what happens here. So you can see the entity is just order number like initially, and we have automatically reprompt toggled on. Then we have some rules. Ensure to capture the user's order number before proceeding, and that the order number starts with the number 0. Then we only have one exit scenario, just like initially, to exit if the user says they don't have their order number. Okay, so if the user doesn't have their order number, it will flow through the exit scenario. Then we'll tell them kindly check your email address for your order number. Then we have some buttons. So the two buttons are I have checked my email and found my order number, and the other one is I've checked and not found it. So to see this practically, let me just run it so that you can see it. I don't have my order number, so let's see. So you see it flows through the exit scenario. So we tell them kindly check your email for your order number. If they check and they find it, so they'll click on this. So I have checked my email and found my order number. Else they can also click I have checked and not found my order number. If that's the case, we'll just tell them to call this specific number. So you can see that if I click this, it will just display this message: kindly call the following number for details in regard to your order. But if they say I have checked my email and found my order, it should lead them back to the same capture block to capture the actual order number. So sure, could you please give your order number? Then it will flow through to this capture block over here. So you can see that clearly. So you see, I'll say my order number is 023123. Then you should be able to capture that, and you'll be like, nice, your order number is 23123. And in all these cases, you'll notice in the debug, so I've turned on debug so that I can be able to see what is happening in the background. So you can see here, when I say my order number is that, these are the steps that happen in the background. Okay, the rationale is the user has provided a valid order number which starts with the number 0, thereby fulfilling the requirement. So you can see it's able to think through it and obtain the details accordingly. If I scroll back up over here, I don't have my order number. We can see that the rationale is the user stated that they do not have their order number, which is a required entity. This matches the exit condition as per the rules. So you can see how clever it is to be able to think through this critically to obtain the right details. It's a true game changer. It blew my mind. I didn't expect such a feature, but it's going to completely transform the chatbots we build in the future. And yeah, that's it from me. I'm excited for the future of AI chatbots. Hopefully Voiceflow continues bringing out such valuable features, more and more of them. It's going to completely transform the chatbots we deliver to clients. And if you want to work with our team, there'll be a link in the description. We build AI systems to automate repetitive tasks within businesses. So if you want to work with us, link in the description to book in a meeting with us. Till next time, stay servy. Peace.